Well, I do have a story for you.
What's that?
Regarding Ed Sheeran.
What has he done?
And he's in court for alleged copyright infringement.
I heard.
So the estate of one of the co-writers of Marvin Gaye's Let's Get It On took Ed Sheeran to court for copyright infringement for one of Ed Sheeran's earlier hit songs.
Okay.
And what was the song called? The Ed Sheeran one, Thinking Out Loud.
Yeah.
Thinking Out Loud.
Yes.
So if you listen to the two songs, for sure they sound identical.
Yeah.
Especially the early portions of it. I know the song varies in that there comes a bridge and then the chorus has its different melody.
Yeah.
But like the verse section is almost a cut and paste.
Yeah.
Trying to hold back this feeling for so long.
Baby, my heart could still fall as hard at 23.
And so for that, he's being taken to court, and it looks like he's gonna lose. It's still going on, the trial. He even had to do a song demo to demonstrate that the songs sound different, but I'm not sure it's gonna convince anybody.
Yeah.
And he's worried that this is going to lead to a very dangerous precedent, for songwriters in future, because music is one of those things where you can't completely compose something out of thin air with no inspiration. Music sort of lends itself to borrowing ideas from other musicians, building on it, modifying it, making it better or worse. But essentially you build upon what others have done. Now, if you want to say, okay, that's fine, but everyone that you borrowed from should be strictly credited, it kind of ruins the creative process.
No, it does not.
Because first of all, when you write a song, you may not even know that you're borrowing from someone else. It could have been a song you heard when you were like 10 years old and the melody stayed with you. And so you go in the studio and record it and someone comes back and says, oh, you copied my song. You're like, wait, what? And then, because I don't know, I just think it'll be that much harder for artists to be creative. I can see the concern. While at the same time, I can appreciate that people who compose music need to be compensated.
That's true.
But I mean, I feel like it's a sticky situation. You see those black and whites?
No, I think you are able to tell where your inspiration comes from, because even if it's a melody that say sticks in your head and it sticks in your head for a very long time, you still know where you had that melody from, or what kind of nostalgia or emotion it brings, or you even remember our time. That's the thing about music. You can remember our time and pinpoint that exact moment where you had that song or how you felt when you first had that song. So for me, I'm all about give people their money.
Have you ever written a song?
No, I don't.
Can
I've
you
never.
imagine?
I'm not. That
you
is.
should try.
I wish I could. But actually, if God asked me to pick a talent, it would have been to be a musician. I swear to God. I swear. If he asked me, Sarah, just pick your talent, please, I would have been a musician.
Or maybe in your next life.
I hope I have a love for performances and singing. I think it's actually very beautiful. Music speaks to you in a way that nobody else can ever do it. So, and I think artists are very, very, I think they're the most talented people.
Well, they are indeed, and
So,
that's why I want
Sheeran,
there to be as much leeway as possible and as few restrictions. And I worry that such lawsuits are going to put restrictions.
No, I think such lawsuits are going to help people actually get the recognition and credit that they so deserve, because a lot of great artists just keep stealing from lower ranking people and then take it up and make it their own. That is wrong. That is theft. That is not right. So
maybe not
run people
stealing,
their
but
money.
borrowing.
But you're profiting off it. You see, so you are stealing.
Because isn't it also true that sometimes someone else can make a hit out of a song than you, right?
But it was your song.
So
that
maybe
is where they got the inspiration from. So grant me my money, give me my card, give me my check. At least put me in the credits. You understand? It doesn't take much. Just have a conversation with people, and I think people get a lot more agitated and very frustrated after it is stolen from them. And then now you're denying. Okay, now that you're denying and putting me through all this inconvenience, I am going to put another sum on top of what I'm suing you for inconveniencing my life. And yet you could have just said, yes, I got inspiration from you, and here is like 10%.
Okay, so I'm taking issue with the really, I'm only taking issue with the word. I'm okay with the concept and the idea of crediting. But to say that someone is stealing, I feel like it sounds a bit too harsh. So I'm a blues musician. I used to play in a blues band, and in blues music essentially all sounds the same. It's all 12-bar blues. You're singing within a particular scale, a particular chord progression, and essentially, going back to the 1920s to when blues started going mainstream, to the 50s when it was popularized by the British blues musicians like Eric Clapton and the others. Essentially, it has retained its same form, and everyone has just sort of kept building on what came before.
Okay.
Now, imagine cracking open the Pandora's box where you say, okay, let's look for copyright infringement in blues music. There will not be a single musician you won't be able to pin on borrowing a tune from somewhere in the past.
Then pin everybody. Unless there's like an unwritten code among artists.
Blues artists?
That, you know what? This is a gift we are here to give to the world, and it's okay. You can take from me, you can, borrow, you can do whatever, you can pinch from here and there and, make it great. We're here to spread love. But when you find somebody who Bambi is hustling, and you take from them and you don't credit them, I think that is wrong. At the end of the day, and even if it is open, it is an open source for everybody to take from, still say, I got my inspiration from this person, and I looked up to this person and I loved it and I built up on it. It doesn't take much, but a lot of these artists go on to say that they created it from scratch, and that is not right. And actually, I've been covering a lot of stories here of artists that are being sued for copyright infringement, and also not crediting the original artist, like Glorilla the other day. I think last week or the other week before, we did a story. She's also being sued. You get Beyonce also got into trouble with her album, for the samples that she did, and not crediting the artist.
And yet she goes through great pains to list as many in her credits. Because her songs, people like making fun of Beyonce, that look, Beyonce's songs have like 50 songwriters. And really, it's not that all those 50 are writing parts of the song. It's just that she's borrowing samples from here and there, and it is a requirement for them to be credited.
Exactly. And she did not credit K-List, and actually, K-List is the one who called her out for it, and she actually had to redo the whole song.
But even the part that she claims was from K-List was so minor.
Still, it was K-List's work.
All right. But for his part, Ed Sheeran said that he's getting encouragement during this trial from other performers and other artists who are also expressing concern that they will be sued.
Yes, so now you better start
because
making some phone calls so
because
you don't
Ed
get
Sheeran,
sued.
I have heard him explain that in pop music, the chords are the musical chords you can use to compose pop music are fairly limited.
It's really damaging to the songwriting industry. There's only so many notes and very few chords used in pop music. Coincidence is bound to happen if 60,000 songs are being released every day on Spotify. That's 22 million songs a year, and there's only 12 notes that are available.
In fact, if you go to, there are many people who like to put up mashup videos of songs that kind of sound the same. Have you seen those?
Yeah, I've seen those.
Mashup of like 10, 20 songs strung together, and it's kind of fitting within the same beat and general melody. Because that's how pop music is written. There will be a particular progression of chords that will sort of be popular, and other people will use it as inspiration to write their lyrics and compose music, to make fans happy. And to say that, okay, so now all of you are going to be taken to court for copyright. Wow, for me, that's opening a dark window.
No, all of them.
The window to a dark
for me,
place.
I still insist, credit your inspiration sources. It's as simple as that. It's as simple as saying, I'd like to thank Sarah because when I listened to this song, I borrowed this melody from her. I loved it and I incorporated it. It doesn't take much. But it is going to take much from you when Sarah finds out that you borrowed her melody. Borrowed, and I put that in quotes, borrowed her melody. You feel me? So give people credit. Give people their flowers. Come on, just don't do that. That's not right.
So during the trial, the attorney representing the plaintiff said this to Ed Sheeran. Said, if I can be honest, I think what he's doing here is criminal. I was like, what? And Ed Sheeran said he couldn't believe that somebody could listen to one of his songs and then diminish it by saying, I stole it. He says, I find that very insulting.
Of course, that's what you say.
Why? Because you're being caught?
Because of course that's what you say. I bet
Come
he's being
on.
sued for
Where
a lot
is
of
your-
money. That's what you say.
I feel like you're not cutting these guys any slack.
No.
You're ready to just chuck them
not
under
at
the
all.
bus.
Not at all. It's just
You
like,
know?
you know what? And there are many examples. You've heard of cultural appropriation?
Which also makes no sense to me.
You feel me? Give credit where it's due. Don't have, people rocking African fabric and then saying, white people rocking African fabric and then saying that, oh, we came up with this idea. It's our original idea. You could just say, we got this idea as
dangerous.
inspiration from, this African culture. Do you understand what I mean? Give credit. Just say,
But I'll tell you why
I saw this, I loved
I'll tell
it,
you why
so
that's-
I mixed it up, to suit my preference.
Here's the danger: is that cotton fabric was never indigenous to Africa. It was brought here from the Arab world. If you want African clothing, it's either hides and skins or bark cloth.
No, again, the cotton was brought here and we turned it into fabrics and colors that we like. Not so.
It's like saying
It
the
is not
kanzu is
the
a Ugandan dress.
No,
Is it really?
Listen, but then again, Africans turned that cotton into that kanzu with their, imagination. Do you understand? Or these African kitenge, we turned that into our imagination. So you cannot say the cotton came in African kitenge already. It's growing out of the ground looking like
Africans,
that. No, it's not.
So then Africans, so why stop at Africans? Africans too then must credit the originators of whatever they used and added their creativity to make something new. Do you see what I'm saying? Is that culture and art is an ever-evolving thing. Every time it passes through someone's hands, it becomes a new thing. And to want to penalize and to fine people at every step of that transition, I feel like it's a losing game.
It's
a
not.
losing game.
Everybody has to give credit to where their motivation and inspiration comes from. That is why when you quote famous world leaders or your favorite artist, you say what they said and you put their name there, because that is who said it and that's the person who has ignited a feeling or an emotion or evoked an idea within your head because of what they said. Quote the person, give them credit. It's just literally, Fatboy said this and I like that he said that, and this is what he said. Point period blank.
Yeah, but sometimes,
it's simple as that.
But you see, sometimes, have you not heard of the Chinese whisper? So by the time it gets to you, by the time I make a statement and it gets to someone, it may have passed through 10 other people and it's even been modified to become a variation of what I said. Okay. Now, how is that person to know that I might have even said it? They may innocently have no idea. Is it their job? So is it my job now? Anytime I encounter any creative work of art or thought, that I must, before doing anything with it, do research to find out if anyone has ever claimed it before.
Yes, it will save you from getting sued.
I'm saying
It will save you.
but it'll kill their creative
getting
process.
sued.
It'll kill their creative process.
It is not just your
If you
creative
did that in
process.
fashion, if you did
It
that
is not just
in
your
music,
creative process. It is just not that. That is why everybody gives credit to somebody. I was inspired by this tree.
I want you
and
to
that
try
is why this
creating
design
something.
looks like that.
I want you to create, I would like for you to try to do creative work like for a living, where you're like producing, but you do
I
even
do.
this is where producing.
And I always give
exactly.
credit.
But what I'm saying is, it could be that you may have heard something or a particular thought. Or let's say, what about this? A format of people in the studio having a conversation. I'm sure there was someone somewhere who did it first, right? But we're not here trying to give them credit. We don't even know who they are.
But we always give credit
get
to
it?
our favorite on-air personalities. I do. I don't know about you.
What I'm saying,
But I do. And we talk about a lot of them here on the show.
I'm just saying that, by the way, before we have this conversation, Sarah, can we please acknowledge the creator of these amazing microphones and these amazing lights? Because if we don't give them credit...
But we do. You see their name is here. The manufacturer's name is right here on the back. I'm sure when I turn the microphone, you can see it. Isn't this not, giving credit?
Okay, you got me.
You see?
All right. You got me there, Sarah. We're definitely giving the show company some props.
Give people their
But
flowers.
when it comes to music, I don't know if it's the same thing.
It's the same
But
thing.
we'll keep talking about this, and we'll see. I'm sure the outcome of the case of Ed Sheeran and his alleged copyright infringement, that will definitely set a new trend and a new precedent for how music copyright infringement issues will be discussed going forward.
Yeah.
Well, do keep listening to your number one station. It's RX Radio.